Well, hello, Kelly. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be back.
And how was your Easter?
It was very calm and casual, which is the way I like it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, it's also birthday week in our house. My daughter and my husband both have birthdays this week, and so it's better to just let Easter kind of sit to the side because I have to do so much for the other two.
Yeah, that's a lot of birthdays
It
next to
is.
Easter.
It is. Well, fortunately, Easter falls on different weeks,
Yes.
year to year. So sometimes I get a break. This year was not a break, but that's
Oh,
okay. It's all good, all fun. And
calm is good.
calm is good. And it's spring. It's so nice outside.
Oh, is the weather good there
Good.
in
It's really
California?
good. Finally stopped raining so much. So we're drying out. The sun is shining. Everything's blooming. It really does feel like spring. It's been so gorgeous.
Oh, how nice. You can
I,
actually go outside and walk
yeah.
around, and it's
Yeah. I
nice
hope
weather
it's,
right now.
yeah, I hope it's been good where you are too.
Well, it's pouring
Oh,
right now.
is
Yeah.
that not unusual for your
Uh,
area of the world?
Well, it's been really strange the last 6 months. Lots of snow, lots of rain, lots of
Yeah.
cold, cold, cold.
Yeah.
But
It's
anyway,
been it's been crazy everywhere, but that's the where we are right now. It's just
yeah.
unpredictable.
So last time you were on the show, we touched on the subject of energy clearing or energy healing, and so today I wanted to dive into that and
Sure.
talk about exactly how you discovered it and how it works.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
do you want the general overview? Or do you
give
want to
me
have
whatever you've
specific
got.
questions?
Whatever you've
Um,
got.
well, so how it showed up to me, and I've always known about it. I have gone to energy healers in my life, and they've been very helpful to me. But I never thought, oh, this is something that I would ever do.
Yeah.
But the famous quote is, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's kind of what happened to me. I was coaching at the company where I coach now. And one day I was coaching a woman who had been with me for a year, maybe a little over a year. And she absolutely wanted to break through old patterns and be more abundant and get the freedom she wanted in her life. She had had a lot of traumas and difficulties in her life. And she knew, like, mentally, what she wanted and how to do it. And we talked about that a lot. But she couldn't break through these specific blocks she had to abundance, to really moving forward. It was like old pattern after old pattern kept showing up for her. And we were both really frustrated. And then one day when I was talking to her, in my mind's eye, I saw this dark area in her lower two energy centers, her lower two chakras, which are, the first and second right around the abdomen area. And I instinctively knew that that was blocked energy. And this was being shown to me as such. And I said to my guides, well, okay, I see this, but I don't know how to do anything about it. I wish I did. And about a week later, I got an email about an energy healing course. And I thought, this happens to me so much, Kim.
I
I said,
know.
I know to say yes when it's like, oh, this is my next step. Okay, this is what I'm supposed to do now. Don't know how I'm going to do it. Don't know if I'm capable of doing it, but I know this has been given to me. So I stepped in and I started to learn neo-shamanic energy healing. And lo and behold, I can do this. It's like this gift or thing I've been able to do, I think, always. I just didn't embrace it or understand it until the teacher appeared. And so, I think we said before, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And that was what happened to me. I had been dancing around this teacher for a couple of years. I had been on his email list. I didn't understand most of what he was talking about at the time that I signed up with him. But eventually, that's what I was like, oh, yes, this is what it is. And so I started to see that the coaching and the therapy practices are great for uncovering certain wounds and certain blocks from when we were young that still run our show. But the piece that doesn't get addressed by those two modalities is the physical piece. Because energy, we are energetic beings. We have layers and layers of energetic fields where old traumas and things get stuck. And that's something that our Western medical society does not see or embrace, or however you want to say it. They don't address that part. And it is absolutely the truth. And so when I started to see this and be able to do something about it, it became the final piece of the puzzle of how I could help people fully heal their lives and move forward and release old stuff that's blocking them. So
I love it.
That was really cool. It was like, wow, what a gift for me to be able to have this other thing I can do to help people really embrace their life.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question to go back a little bit. You said that you recognized that she was blocked.
Mm-hmm.
How did you recognize that?
It was obvious in the way that she couldn't take steps forward. She would stop herself. You know how we get stuck in old patterns. We get stuck in our minds about, I can't do this. I'm not worthy of this. I have self-doubt, and then we self-sabotage. Many of us do. And I've done it in my life. So I completely understand that pattern. And it all really stems from, I don't trust. I'm not worthy of abundance or success, and this can be from all kinds of things, but it's all past conditioning. It can be, we've seen it in our parents. They told us that when we were very young and before we had discernment to say, no, that's not true. All of these things. And so the block was really her energy. The lower, okay, I'll go back to help people listening understand. Your energy, you have 7 energy centers, main energy centers, and they're called chakras. A lot of people know them as chakras. Please
explain that. Yes.
So we have our body is an energetic vessel, and we have 7 main chakras throughout our body. So the root chakra is in your in the perineum area, and that is the first to develop. The second one is underneath your belly button. That's the second energy center. The third is solar plexus area. The fourth is your heart. The fifth is your throat chakra. The 6th is your third eye chakra, and the 7th is your spiritual center up above your
crown?
Crown okay. Chakra, exactly. And so when everything's working in a healthy way and in flow, energy is coming through and it's coming out, and it's coming up from the earth and out, and it's coming down from source and out and into the earth. And so you want that flow to happen.
Yes.
Because when energy gets stuck, if a chakra isn't spinning 6 inches in diameter clockwise, if it's doing anything else, then you don't have healthy flow. And that means that your energy is moving within the body as opposed to moving out of the body. Okay. And when it moves within, because the nature of energy is it has to move, it can't just stay stagnant. So it starts moving within and morphing cells, and it manifests into pain and illness and disease. Okay. I say it that way because it is dis-ease and disease. So that's why it's very important to be aware of the energy centers being open and in flow. And so the first 2 tend to be where our childhood stuff gets trapped. Any of our conditioning about safety and security, money, security, self acceptance, and also sexuality, and then the third would be identity. So those are the first three to get developed. And so a lot of the times, at least what I saw in many of my clients, and this one in particular I'm referring to, she had so much old trauma and conditioning from when she was a child that she did not feel safe in the world. She did not trust herself to move past all of that and have her own beliefs. She had a very difficult mother who really didn't like herself and was constantly throwing that out to her children. And these are the lessons, right? These are the lessons that we're here to learn, these kinds of old things. And we think to ourselves, gosh, why would I ever choose to have that in my life? But it's really, how do you overcome that? How do you get to the next level of your life, despite what's happened in your past? And many people they live in the past. They live with those old belief patterns and those old traumas. They can be released. And so what I've seen is, coaching is great. Therapy is great, but it will not undo every piece that needs to be undone. So what I go in and do is I open up the chakras, I get everything very in flow, and we start creating new patterns of belief and new ways of being through the coaching part of it that then help everything stay in flow, and life becomes much more easy, honestly, instead of just falling back into old ways of being.
So when she told you about what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
did you know what chakra that went with because of what she was saying? Is that how you knew which part was blocked?
No, I could see it, literally see from my third eye. I was shown a picture.
Oh, okay.
So I have some connection with guides and source, and so I sometimes get shown images in my mind's eye. So that was how I knew, because I could literally in my imagination see it, because I was on the phone with her. I couldn't even see her.
And she was coming to you for regular coaching,
Correct.
mindset coaching. And
Correct.
then did you just suddenly say, something just came to me? And
yes. Yes, I could tell her that this is what I saw, and then we could start to work from there. At that point in time, I didn't have the skills, because I was just literally being shown it for the first time. And I said to my guides literally out loud, sort of a whisper, I don't know how to do anything about that.
Yeah, right.
and it was like, it's okay. This is the beginning of the next part of your journey, Kelly. So just hang on. We'll give you the tools.
Did you say, wait, let's get back to that as soon as I take my course and I learn what to do with this information?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, it was an interesting piece of the puzzle. And yes, we did go back to that once I learned how to do the work.
And she was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't scared or anything. Are people afraid to do this sometimes?
Well, it is a bit of the unknown for people who don't understand. She understood energy work.
Yeah.
She was actually studying it herself.
Oh,
that was the interesting thing. She was studying Reiki. It's a different form of energy work. But it's funny to notice how we can't see the forest for the trees when it's us.
Right.
We think I can help other people, but when we need help, it has to be done from another place, because we're so entrenched in that way of belief and that beingness that we don't even notice it sometimes, what our own patterns are. And I've been through this myself recently, uncovering old things that I actually was repressing because I was trying to protect my mother, or I didn't want to go there because that meant, oh gosh, what is my life if it's not this, this kind of perfect thing I was imagining. in
Yeah,
my mind. And people are, everyone's human. Everyone has
right.
flaws and everyone has pain.
Of
And
course.
and I had a breathwork session, a transformational breathwork session that was completely mind-blowing. But the guy who ran it was so easy with the idea of pain. He just said, it's just pain. We all feel it. No big deal.
Oh, mm,
So the message was, pain is it's a common thing, right? Pain is just going to be there, but
right.
suffering is optional.
Okay,
We all experience pain.
right.
And yet we're the only animal on the planet that resists healing it.
Okay.
Animals are like, yeah, give it to me. I want to be done with this.
Yeah,
And because as humans, we know that to get out, we have to go through, we have to kind of feel it again and get out the other side. That's a resistance point for us, because we say, I don't want to ever feel that again.
right.
Whereas animals instinctively know they can get out quickly if they just do it, just release it. Let's go. But
Interesting.
humans resist. So it is interesting. It is interesting.
Does this work help with pain?
Physical pain?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. So I'll give you an example.
Yes, please do.
I was working with a client the other day, and she told me she had, in our initial discussion before the session, she told me she had some gardening injury. Like her back hurt because she had been gardening and was bending over too much, or something happened. So I had this knowledge of her back. And as I was going through the session, and I get pictures in my mind's eye as I'm working on someone. And I do this remotely, Kim. So
Yeah.
they're not even with me. And I can still see kind of what's going on inside of them. And I could see on her left side of her back, like between her rib cage and her hip, it was very dark. And the right side was fine, but the left side was dark. And I was told what to do and, kind of how to heal that. And when I talked to her afterwards, she said, oh yeah, that's where my back was hurting, was where you saw the darkness on the left side.
So she hadn't told you about her back yet,
She
or
had told me, but she didn't tell me
not where?
specifically where.
I see.
And I saw it. And then after the session, about a day later, she emailed me and said, by the way, my back pain is gone. I just wanted you to know. And I
Kelly,
thought,
you're magic.
it seems like magic. It really does. And but I feel so blessed to be able to have this ability to help people feel better. And it's so much about just clearing that energy out, that old stuck energy, and just get rid of it. And then this can be, life can be a little bit better, a lot better.
Wow. Well, can you tell me a little bit about how you do it?
Sure.
Or is it a magical secret?
It's not
We're
a
not supposed to
magical secret. No. It's neo-shamanic. So if you know anything about shaman, they do a lot with nature and with just channeling energy, honestly. So that's the way I do it. It's not my energy that's done. I connect with, say I'm working on you, Kim. I would call in your guides and angels, and I call in my guides and angels, whoever wants to show up and help with the healing. And then I just open to receive, and I channel it through them and through my hands and into you.
Through your hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're remote, so you can't. And plus, you're not on Zoom, right? You're not like this. You're like on the phone.
I am actually.
Oh, so
I'm
you can
on
see
Zoom.
them.
I can see them. They can see me.
I
I'll
see.
talk through the session and tell them what I'm doing, so they can feel like they're there with me.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of understand, okay, here I'm here at your feet and I'm doing X, and and I kind of guide them through some of it. I don't tell them everything, but they know the gist of it, of where I am on their body and what I'm working on.
And are your
And
hands moving?
yes.
Or, oh,
Yes.
okay.
So I'm, it depends on what I'm doing, but say I'm holding onto your feet and I'm sending light or energy through your feet. I'll hold on to the image of your feet.
Okay.
And then you would feel that going through you. So it's,
Really?
yeah, people are pretty shocked at what they're able to feel. And it depends. You maybe don't feel everything, and that's okay. Sometimes it's like taking off the layers of the onion, and it's just little bits at the time, depending on what the client is ready for. Some people, this is very, very new, and it would be a little too much for
That'd be
them
me.
to feel
I'd like,
ton.
I need the smallest baby step. Just let me feel like a little prick in my finger or something. And then that's it. I don't want any more.
But you know what it is? It feels really good. And the thing that I hear the most afterwards is I feel revitalized. I feel refreshed. I feel like I've had a good nap or a massage. You just get re-energized because your chakra centers are open now. You get all that beautiful flow, and it is like, oh, like a breath of fresh air, kind of literally.
Yeah.
and you get to experience that. And I just have to say, you cannot be hurt by this.
Okay.
This is not at all dangerous. It's quite the opposite. And so that's the nice thing too, is you can go in and relax knowing that I've got you, and your team has you, and it's all for good.
And is the person, do they have their eyes open or their eyes closed?
They're usually lying on a bed.
Oh,
with their eyes closed. You're just lying down,
okay. I
enjoying,
thought you were
relaxing.
sitting up. So you're
No.
actually, okay. You're sitting up, but they're not.
Sometimes I'll even stand and do what I have to do, but yeah, mostly I'm standing because I get energy flow better if I'm standing.
Wow. Now, if you do this do you say, do you do it to them? I don't know how you say it. You do it for them.
For them.
Does it last or do you need a tune up every couple months or?
Yeah, the way this really works is, especially if we're undoing old layers of things, is I do it in packages of sessions, because you do need refreshes, and it's, again, like taking off the layers of the onion, and the new habits part of it has to be established. So if you get one energy session and you feel really good, but then you go back to the ways of thinking and the ways of being that got you there in the first place, to that, those stuck ways of being, those, right. I'm not worthy kinds of thoughts or whatever got you there, you're just going to go back where you were. The chakra will close up again. You'll be still stuck. So it's definitely a two-way street. Like, it's a team effort is what I mean. So I can do the clearing and the coaching, but the client has to be ready to make the changes on the outside,
right,
that are going to give them that consistency of well-being.
Yeah. So do you do the clearing and the coaching in the same session? So you say, here's what we did, and now let's work with your mind, and you're going to do these habits before I meet you next time, and then we'll clear you again. And
yeah, so it depends on what's showing up that day, but usually I would coach a little first, or get some intake as to what's going on in the present, and then I would do the clearing, and then we would have a little post session about, okay, how do you feel? What are your action steps going forward? Let's talk about how you can maintain, or, just go forward in your life with some new way of being, and then practice that for the week, and then come back and we'll see what we need next time.
I love it. It makes it so much more interesting.
It is fun. And the beautiful part that I think clients love is the energy session is just them receiving. So it's not like it has to be a ton of work. Coaching can be a lot of work sometimes.
Yeah,
The
it sure
client,
can.
right.
Yes.
It's all for good, but
Right.
it is definitely a relief for clients at times to think, oh, okay, now I can just lie down
Right.
and get this done. And then, and then they do have to take responsibility on the other side of it to maintain that, but they feel better, right?
Oh, yeah.
They absolutely feel better in that moment. And so that's always my goal, is to have a client feeling good when they leave the session.
Oh, definitely.
In whatever way possible. And so this is, it's nice to be able to perform this for them so that they can more easily take those action steps.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Instead of trying to overcome the block mentally, which is a lot more work.
Right. When they're lying there, do you have them go into some kind of meditative state, or are their thoughts just running wild? Or
usually it's just breathing. It's that meditative state just happens sort of naturally. If they're taking breaths and just being and experiencing, I ask them to just notice what's going on in their body. So their attention is more on the body than in the mind.
And are they talking to you?
No.
No.
Not usually, and not unless they really need to tell me they're very uncomfortable or something. But we don't speak to each other generally during the session.
Oh, you don't even talk except for saying, notice what you're feeling in your body.
Yeah, I'll tell them what I'm doing. So they're aware of what part of their body I'm working on. So they can sort of put their attention there. Because I do like to hear the feedback. What did you experience during the session? Sometimes it's lights, they'll see, certain images or lights, or darker light, or they'll feel temperature changes, or, it's very interesting when I release energy from the bones, it tends to feel quite chilly. And so that's really interesting. And yet it goes away. It's just temporary. And
has anybody ever fallen asleep?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It's just like you would be getting a massage and fall asleep during a massage. It's the same thing. It's just I don't have my hands on you. Exactly.
And so like if they just start snoring, I mean, what do you do?
Okay.
You have to wake them up, like, our session's over. Hello, wake up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's happened. And then I'll just turn the Zoom off and I'll call them. I'll text them and say, call me back when you're awake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fine. It happens. It's okay.
Because it sounds so relaxing. I mean, I couldn't fall asleep during a massage. Massages are very hard on me. Yeah. And I just like, when is it going to be over? That's how I don't like getting them, unless it's a chair massage, which is just a lot easier. But this, with nobody touching me, I would think I would probably fall asleep.
Yeah, you might. And that's a great thing, because then you're in a very relaxed state, very welcome to receive, and no resistance.
Okay, so you can receive even though you're not aware of it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Sorry, I have itchy eyes right now from this weather.
Oh,
sorry about that. Okay, so can anybody benefit from energy clearing, or is it just certain people?
Oh, anybody can. I think it's more effective when you have an openness to it, when you're curious about it and you're not resisting. That is, I think, to me, the biggest obstacle to really receiving the benefit. And I've worked on people who had no idea what this was like, or even the concept of energy work.
Right.
And the ones who were open to it and just curious about it really were able to experience things that were kind of mind-blowing for them. Just that the woman with the back problem.
Right.
And she said, wow, that was amazing. And I saw these lights when you were working on my head, and just the changes for her, and some little shifts and surges of energy that were kind of just affirming to her that something was going on.
Yeah.
And then the refreshed feeling at the end of it is really just a nice little benefit.
Yeah. So how do I ask this question? Who would be the best candidate to get this type of work?
Oh, I don't know that I can answer that specifically. I think anyone benefits from this, because most people, I don't think I've ever worked on someone who came to me for energy clearing that had all of their energy centers open and flowing completely. So when you're having any sort of conflict in your life, or you're struggling through something, or you are just in old ways of being that maybe don't serve you, there's something going on in the body that's related to that, always. And so it's good to get these chakra clearings often, like maybe once a month, or
Really?
more frequently, just to keep things flowing. Because like I said before, physical pain and physical illness are very much related to how your energy is flowing or not flowing through your body. So cancer, per se, it's, the common Western medicine doctors would have you think that this is not in your control. This is genetic. This is from the outside world. This is not this is not something you had any control over. That's actually not true. That's my belief. And that's the belief of people who do this work, is that is created through your mental state that's right. Manifesting in your physical state. It's all connected, Kim. It's mind, body, soul. It's a triangle. It's all connected to each other.
Yeah.
And we in our society have been disconnected from that idea. We're told, think it through. The mind is king, and just come from here, and intelligence and all of that. But the body has intelligence too.
Right.
And we must not discount that our thoughts and our feelings create things we're feeling physically.
Right.
And so it's, and the way it's currently thought of, it's very disconnected.
Yes.
It's like the body operates on its own, which is not true. So anyway, I think for tune-ups, for maintaining wellness, for and then releasing certain types of pain, and just getting that flow back, it's good for everyone to do.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you think of Joe Dispenza?
I love Dr. Joe. I love him. I have many clients who follow him as well. And
I do.
And the meditations, the healing, he's got the right idea. And there's so many
all connected, right?
All connected. Yeah. And there's so many people, who do it in different ways, who have the same idea. They just approach it differently. Mm-hmm. So, I've been to acupressure, which had the practitioner had a spiritual component to it, which was energy. Well, it's like acupuncture. It really deals with energy. Yes. It's just with needles and meridians. And I'll do the same thing. I work with meridians too, just with my hands, not with needles.
Okay.
So there are these centers of flow. And this is an ancient practice. Shamanism, Chinese medicine, it all goes back, predates Western medicine by, thousands of years.
Yeah.
And there is something to it that actually is truth and healing, and we can heal ourselves.
I believe it.
Believe it. it's really true. And I've gone through recently some transformational breath work that healed some old stuff for me that was still trapped.
Really?
And oh my gosh, it was really transformative. I can't even describe it, but it was facilitated, and it was amazing. I came out a different person.
Wow.
Just so confident and done with some of that old junk.
Really?
Oh, I'm grateful beyond measure that I did it. And so, there are different ways to do things. But this, I do it the way I do it. And the people that it resonates with get a lot of benefit out of it.
Can you do the energy work on yourself? Or do you have to go to somebody to get it done for you?
You can. There is a way to do it for yourself. I personally don't do it for myself. I go to a colleague. I'll go to a colleague, so I can just relax and get the benefit. I like it. I like the feeling. So I don't, we'll trade.
Yeah. It's kind of like cutting your own hair.
Exactly, which I don't do. I won't do.
Yeah.
I went the
That's
whole
a very
pandemic
bad
without
idea.
cutting my own hair.
So you go to someone else. That's good. Do you go to different people or just one person?
No, I go to different people. I like to experience different people's method. People, even within the protocols that I've learned, people bring their own flavor to it.
Right.
And their own gifts. And some people have that inner sight I was talking about. Some people don't. They just go with intuition, or they get more audio, they get more sound, clairaudience. And I get a little bit of a few things during sessions, and it's all evolving. That's the beauty of it too, is I keep learning, and I keep experiencing more and more through my gifts, and it's a neat experience. Every one of them's different. Every session, every client is different. So that's kind of fun.
And so how long are the sessions?
Oh, they're about an hour.
An
Maybe
hour.
70 up to 75 minutes, depending on what the healing is that day. But yeah, it's pretty average session time.
I'm so glad you're doing this now. It sounds so interesting, and I'm sure that you're excellent at it.
Oh,
I mean, you are already an excellent coach to begin with. Man.
Thank you. I feel like it's like I said, it put everything together for me, for places where I just felt like, wow, why can't we break through this through the coaching? And now I know why.
Yeah.
And so it's all getting revealed. And thank you for all your support of this. I love doing it. I think it's super fun, and I'd love to give you a session sometime.
Oh, I would like to try it. Baby steps.
Yeah.
I would like to try it.
Yeah.
I probably need it right now. But yeah, I'd like to
everyone needs it right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, especially.
Yeah. So is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you wanted to share?
Oh, I think you touched on so much of it.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah, you did. And it's, I would love to offer anyone in your audience. I give complimentary sessions. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Was because people don't understand until they experience. I do give the first one complimentary, so you can get a taste of what it's like, and then we go on from there. If it's right for you, and you see the benefit of doing more, then we talk about what would make sense for you. Okay.
And tell us where people can find you, and I will include it in the show notes, but just in case they're not reading them, where can they find you?
Sure. It's www.kellymishell.com, and that's Mishell.com. And you can see on my website where my calendar is for the one-on-one sessions, and sign and register yourself if you'd like to try.
I think I'm going to.
Absolutely. Do it.
And then I'll report back to the audience what happened.
That would be great.
If I felt anything go through me. Oh.
Baby steps, Kim.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show. I know that you have a client soon, so I will say goodbye, but come back on the show again. Maybe you'll add another modality.
Yeah. Well, gosh, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what appears, but this is good for now. But thank you for having me again. This is always fun to talk to you, and I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Back
So
at
thank
you.
you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, have a good day, Kelly.
You too. Bye, Kim.
Okay. Bye-bye.